everybody, and welcome to Whiskey at Work.
This is another one of your bad ideas.
This is a bad idea because I'm drinking what you paid for. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Whiskey at Work. One day I'm going to say that and I'm going to get you to blow that out right when you're taking a sip. You can do a spit take on that. I hope that happens.
It's coming at you.
That would be great.
Just wait. Next time I'll plan it.
How are you, Rob?
Better now. I've been waiting for 4 o'clock all bloody day.
We actually went on a date Saturday night. Did you tell anybody that? Did you talk to anybody?
I wasn't gonna either, no.
Rob and I saw each other outside of the company Saturday night. That was a pretty big deal.
For you.
For me. It was a really big deal.
You seeing anybody outside of the office is a pretty big deal.
That was fun. We went to the first game of the indoor football league that we have here.
The Rapid City Marshals. It was.
Yeah. I thought it was a good time.
It was pretty fun. I was kind of wishing just recently that I wish more of the people were there, up in the seats.
Oh, sure.
You know,
sure.
I mean, not that it was easy. It made it easier to get a drink for sure without all you people being there. But
it was a good crowd though. I thought for the first night. I don't know how the season goes or what the home games we have or anything, but
they knocked a smack out of Topeka.
Topeka.
The tropics.
Yeah.
If you ever been to Topeka, what you think is when you walk in there is it just oozes tropics.
No, you don't think that at all. But why are we the Marshals?
Well, we're the Old West.
Was Rapid City really the Old West?
We got Deadwood. We're close.
Yeah.
Come on.
I don't know. Same argument can be made for us. But it was fun. I had a good time. I might do it again with you. Sometime, if the invitation
do it together.
No, we took our wives, right?
I had two there, the real wife and the work wife.
God, okay.
You went down this path first, man. We're not editing this out.
All right, we won't. I want to talk about whiskey. That's what we're here for. That's what we do. I don't think we have ever talked about wheated whiskey.
I know. I'm almost positive that we haven't because I've always been under the impression that I have never had one.
Really? I know that that's wrong. I know I did bring one down in our old building that was by Koval. It was Koval wheated because I remember I bought it at a Whole Foods, I think, in Minneapolis, and it was just terrible. It was really bad. Do you remember that at all? Is any of that ringing a bell?
Maybe I've repressed.
Yeah, that's probably a good thing that you did. But I thought this was, it wasn't going to be super interesting, really. All a wheated whiskey is in the mash bill, they replace the rye with wheat. That's all it is. It's still bourbon, so
still 51% corn,
right?
Still malted barley,
exactly. But instead of the rye, they throw in the wheat. And then as I started digging into this,
51% corn.
Yeah, you said that.
I know, but
okay.
I thought it could be more corn.
Well, it could be more corn, but it has to at least be 51%. So as you kind of look into this stuff and go down the rabbit holes
I'd be a lot better off and more fluent if we would have started on time and you guys would have been ready.
I know. It's been a long day, but it's still on the clock and we're drinking whiskey at work. So this all goes back to, which surprised me when I was doing the research here, one William LaRue Weller.
Is that a dig that you did all the research and I just showed up with a glass?
You kind of know it is. You know that it kind of is.
I just wanted to spell it out for the people that didn't get the subtle jab.
But were you aware that all of the Weller stuff, all of the popular Weller stuff is all wheated?
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I've never intentionally sought it out nor avoided it.
Okay.
It's never been something that I thought of, I guess.
Right.
I knew that there were wheated bourbons out there, but it's never been, I want to try that.
Okay.
And that's wheated, I don't want to buy that.
Well, I'm surprised because you are a bourbon guy. I'm surprised you wouldn't want to try all the iterations of it.
Well, I think your buddy Shaniqua is a big fan of the wheated stuff, isn't he?
It
seems like that came out of that little meeting.
That's right.
And
Could have been.
I've never. I feel stupid now for not knowing, but I've never thought about it, I guess.
Well, these after the whiskey festival was done, we got to go down and pick from all the bottles that still had juice in them.
Well, we made them let us come down and pick out.
I mean, we paid for it. Don't get us wrong. we paid for all of it.
A couple dozen bottles of.
Yeah, and this was one that was sitting on there, and I didn't notice it until the other day that this was the Sweet Wheat 1792.
That's kind of why I grabbed it, because I.
Oh, so you did notice it when you picked it then? Oh, okay, I just thought maybe you grabbed it.
We had the 1792, or at least I did.
The full proof, right?
The bottle that Timmons.
Okay. Yep.
Picked.
Right.
And I loved it. It's super full, super heavy. As Bruner likes it, hotter than sin, because it was 100 and whatever the hell it was.
It is pretty high. What's this one on there? Go ahead, Rob. What's that say? They made this even tinier.
45.6%.
Okay. So it's still, it's above average for a bourbon. But going back to Weller, he was the one that they credit with this whole wheat thing. But then what was so interesting about it is digging into it. Almost everything that all of these people have espoused about this guy is wrong. Totally wrong. They put him up on this big pedestal.
Like he's this big master distiller.
Yeah. And
he's just a lowly salesperson.
That's all he was. He was a distributor and a rectifier. I don't know what that means. I should have looked that up.
Does that mean you correct stuff?
Maybe. I don't know. Could be.
Or... No, yeah.
All right. We'll carry on from that.
Good idea.
The only other really interesting part of Weller and his story is that he also hired Julian Van Winkle to work for him.
Famously known as?
I think you know, folks. It's Pappy, of course. Pappy Van Winkle.
It's not Rip.
No, it's not. It's definitely not. It's not Rip. It's Pappy. That's where that came from. He worked for Weller back in the day.
So Pappy was also not a master distiller,
right,
but a salesperson.
He was directly hired to be a salesperson for Weller. But then all it goes into...
There must be more into that story.
Oh my God, there's so much more, because it went to Stitzler, Weller, and then that changed, and then Diageo, which now owns it all, stepped in and bought it. I mean, it's crazy once you start going down into the research of a lot of the stuff, which I do find so fascinating about it.
Oh, of course you do.
I mean, the bourbon's good, but the stories behind it are great.
I can't wait to come down here and there'll be a family tree.
I
bourbon.
should do that. We should start with...
Oh, you should.
We should start with George Dickel, because that's so many people believe he's the original.
Guy. And where did it go from there?
Yeah, I mean, but everybody was doing it, but he was the one that rose to prominence.
Otherwise,
first.
It'd be just one single.
It would be a single branch, kind of like other weird people's families trees.
If everybody doesn't do it, it'd look like Alabama.
Wow, man, the places this will take you. I don't know if you like the places that it goes, but it does take you to those places.
That makes me giggle.
So that's why I went down that whole thing today, just because I was looking up the wheat and why it's not a bigger deal. I think it's because people drink bourbon for a little bit of that burn with that rye. I think that's why people enjoy bourbon so much. Even if you're not a rye drinker, straight rye, the rye that's in there, you like that. Right.
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't like the ryes that are super heavy, but I do like the burn a little. It lets you know that you drank something.
That's the thing with wheat.
This does not. I mean, it's got a good mouth feel. It's super smooth. It's easy. I mean, I tried it neat, and I've been trying to do that a little more here recently, and loved it. You don't care for the wheat stuff quite as much, though.
And it's because of that first initial smell. It smells like Play-Doh to me. Every wheated bottle I've cracked and smelled, there's a distinct, and you brought up a good point with that though, because most of the at-home poor people Play-Doh, which is what Rob and I grew up with, is made with flour. There you go. I think that's the smell I'm getting then.
Yeah, little flour and some food coloring, and away we went.
You had fun for minutes until it all just crumbled and dried up.
You had to add a little more water to it.
Then it was over. So I mean, I like this. I don't think I'd ever buy a bottle of it. But if it was there and affordably priced at a bar, I'd say pour me one. But it'd probably be only one. I can't get past that smell. That's what bugs me about it.
Yeah, I don't have that same aversion. I don't get the Play-Doh smell out of it, but, I'm not Gabriel, so I enjoyed it a lot. I mean, at 46%, that isn't high as some of the stuff that I've had recently, but it's good. It's smooth.
And it's pretty affordably priced, too.
Palatable, and it's got a nice flavor to it. It sticks in your mouth a little bit. Too much.
No, there's nothing that lingers. And it's around $30 to $40, I think, kind of in that price range.
Yeah, I think what I saw.
But the sweet wheat is kind of hard to find. You can find $17.92 around here, but you're going to find either the full proof or the small batch. I don't think you're going to find.
It might be a little tougher.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing I've been kind of saying out loud with no real proof until today was that all of the Pappy stuff is just Buffalo Trace handled differently in a barrel.
Well, of course, we've had this conversation.
Well, I know, but I always just kind of made it up until today, and I read it. Of course, the internet and Wikipedia is usually true.
Sure, yeah,
but
most of the time.
I thought, if all they're doing is aging it a little different.
Go buy yourself a $29 bottle of Buffalo Trace. And
if you can find Buffalo Trace, it might be easier to find Van Winkle at this point.
One of the other really interesting things I thought about 1792 was that it used to be known as Ridgewood Reserve 1792.
Oh, yeah. That caused a stir.
And then guess who stepped in and got all mad about it?
I'm guessing Brown Foreman.
Brown Foreman. The makers of Jack Daniels and the makers of Woodford Reserve. That's where the lawsuit came in. They thought Ridgewood Reserve. It's hard to say, too. It's stupid. I'm glad they don't have that name anymore.
1792 is way easier to remember.
Right. So Brown Foreman won that lawsuit. They even said that the bottle was a little too comparable to a Woodford Reserve bottle, which it is.
It is a little, but it's square on the end.
Right, exactly. This is more rounded. It's got more of a...
Are they going to go after Crooked Furrow here pretty quick?
A Crown Royal top to it a little too. Seems like it. But yeah, so that's why it is simply known now as 1792, and the name comes from when Kentucky was first admitted as a state. So there's all I care to research on 1792. Anything?
You are just a walking history book when it comes to these things, right?
Well, no, what happens is I get ready for it. I gather all of this information. Tonight when I go to bed, I'll be like, God, what did we just talk about? What did we do? Where was I don't remember a thing we mentioned. I have great short-term memory. My long-term is just shot.
Unless it's lyrics to an 80s tune.
Yeah.
You can't get out of your head.
Sing them all day. Whiskey probably has a little bit to do with that.
I was hiking the Buzzard's Roost Trail last night, and I could not get "Loving You's a Dirty Job" out of my head, and I wanted to jump off the edge.
You know the trick to it? You know the trick to getting any song out of your head?
Tell me.
Sing the last line. Because that tells your brain the song's done. And I can move on to the next.
Loving you is a dirty job, and I am the man to do it.
Yep.
And that was it. That didn't work.
All you got to do is you got to sing it though.
Oh, you got to sing it out loud?
Yeah, kind of like under your breath, or
my wife might have thought I was crazy.
Well, your wife already thinks you're crazy. That's a dumb thing to worry about.
I know.
But 1792, yeah, if you can find the sweet wheat anywhere, it's different. It's pretty unique, and
I'd give it a shot for sure. I liked it quite a little. Affordably priced. Lord. So thank you. Been waiting all day for this, and now you've had too many.
Yep, I do this for a living. I talk for a living. They pay me to make these kind of mistakes.
God, yeah. Don't come here, ever.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us.